Instrumentation is the job of turning a composer's MIDI and audio into notated parts for live players. In the bad old days, composers worked with pencil and paper and could only imagine the sound of their music, or bash it out on the piano. But many composers now write with MIDI and samples, and notation may play only a small part in their creative process. MIDI plus samples equals instant music. No wonder it's a popular way to write. But if there's an orchestral session to do, the music has to look right before it will sound right. MIDI needs to be translated into notation, because live players need to see the music rather than just hear it. So, you have some MIDI and you want notation. If you import this MIDI directly into notation software, it won't be pretty. Sequencing for sound is different from sequencing for notation. The raw MIDI needs cleaning up before it gets anywhere near notation. This is the process, one step at a time. Open up the MIDI and audio in your sequencer. Get to know the music. Listen for instrumentation, key, any quantization, grace notes, effects, tuplets, dynamics, that kind of thing. Is there, frankly, anything unusual? Notation needs mostly monophonic lines, so separate out any parts that are all in one MIDI track, string chords, for example. The composer might have used multiple patches for different articulations, so comp together lines that are spread across more than one part. Delete duplications and merge all the elements that will be in a single line of notation into one part. In this MIDI file, there are 6 tracks of the same cello part. In the composer's original sequence, each part would play a different sample patch, but for notation, we just need one part. So, delete, delete, delete. Notation likes precision, so quantize. Some MIDI might be advanced to make the samples sit right with the track. Avoid overlaps and look out for note lengths that might need fixing. Staccato notes in MIDI might be very short. In notation, they will probably be a longer note with a staccato dot. Get the tracks in the right order for a score. Woodwind at the top, then brass, percussion and strings. When you're happy the MIDI is looking good, export from the sequencer and import into notation software. I'm using Sibelius here. And now finally we get to work in notation. Start with a little housekeeping, things like title, clefs, key signatures, instrument names, layout stuff. gets on to the details. Note lengths, slurs and phrasings, articulations, dynamics, performance markings, groupings and anything else you can find that needs tidying up. It's a long process of attention to detail that will lead to a score and parts that really communicate to musicians. Is all that detail worth it? It sure is. It's not enough to rely on feel. In a session, the notation needs to communicate more than just the basics of pitch and rhythm. It tells the player how to shape and colour the music and shows them how to put character into it.